going on, guys? Barely slept last night, awaiting the news for Zach Wilson, and it is looking more optimistic than it originally did per Connor Hughes. The Jets are hoping that it is going to be weeks and not a whole year. I'm not holding my breath on that until we get the final MRI results, and I had my preseason wrap-up video ready to go, but I don't know if anyone wants to get into the weeds on how Nate Herbig and Calvin Jackson Jr. did while we await our quarterback's health status. But I got to be honest. Last night, the second biggest headline besides fingers crossed and prayers up for Zach was that it was not a good night for head coach Robert Saleh. And I don't care about the final score. We ended up winning. I didn't even watch the end or the stats in a preseason game. But we looked like an undisciplined football team. Before a preseason game, there are directives given to players, I'm sure, to try and keep everybody relatively healthy, especially quarterbacks. And immediately, we had two starters on both sides of the ball break those directives. We have Quincy Williams jacking the other team's quarterback almost 2 full steps out of bounds. Dirty play. Dirty play. Love Quincy Williams. That was a dirty, awful thing to see. Imagine if that was our quarterback getting hit like that. We'd be ready to fight. Then Zach Wilson with a play call that's designed to keep him safe because it's a naked boot, so he's got either a throwaway or a run out of bounds. He's got two outlets. He chooses neither. And he goes and he gets himself hurt for no reason. I love Zach, but come on, there was no reason for that. You have to be more disciplined, more responsible. The most important player to the franchise. So right away that happens. And this is coming off of 3 consecutive days of punches thrown at practice. And I don't care about chippiness at practice. I actually like it. A little competitive fire, trash talking. Maybe there's some pushing and shoving. A little scrumming after the whistle. That's not news. But punches being thrown 3 straight days, especially when Robert Saleh says his one rule when it comes to camp skirmishes is no punching. Well, how does that make any sense? At Patriots practice, you throw a punch and you're gone for the day. So if my employer has a rule that says I have to be on time, but I show up an hour late 3 days in a row and nothing happens, that's not a rule, that's a preference. And Quincy Williams, after that hit, stayed in the game. So if you have a rule that says, hey, in a preseason game, let's not smack the other team's quarterback 2 full steps out of bounds, but someone does that and they stay in the game, that's not a rule that you have. That's just a preference. It's a wish. If it's not too much trouble, if you couldn't punch each other during practice or have a cheap shot against the other team's quarterback in a game that doesn't matter, you got to have higher expectations for your players than that. I saw Sean McDermott lose his freaking headset and yank a guy out of a game immediately because he jumped off sides in a preseason game. And Quincy Williams is back in there the next snap. I can't get with that. So to me, when Zach is hopefully back in a month, those are questions we have to answer because we weren't a disciplined and organized football team last year. And this doesn't bode well for our head coach. We'll talk ball soon.